have a couple more chilly days ahead of us, but nothing like what we saw throughout most of last week and especially last weekend. Still feeling like winter out there with temperatures staying below average now for the start of this upcoming week, but we do have some signs of warmer weather on the way. A brief warm-up coming towards the end of the week that gives us something to look forward to. Not quite feeling it tonight. The good news here is that these lows are actually going to be hit in the next couple hours or so, likely close to the midnight hour. So while we are tanking down into the single digits, by the time most of us wake back up in the morning, we'll already have warmed into the teens for our morning temperatures. And then by the afternoon, a little bit more warming to come. Tad warmer than today, overall fairly similar though, but we're going to have much more wind out there, so it's not really going to feel any warmer outside where we didn't really have any wind today. 24 degrees will be our Sunday high in La Crosse, 23 in Eau Claire, but with that wind it'll likely feel around 10 degrees, if not more cooler than what that thermometer reads. We also have some snow passing through. One of our first snow chances in a little bit of time. Going to be a light one, but it will be lasting for most of the day. Not a continuous snowfall. In fact, the main portion of snow will likely come in the early morning hours for tomorrow. So we'll see the first band passing through kind of dissipates or at least weakens slightly once it gets to our area by around 7 in the morning. But after that, for the late morning and the early afternoon, just going to be some very on and off again scattered flurries throughout the late morning and early afternoon before one last batch and band of snow passes through by the early evening hours, and even that looking fairly sparse. So for the most part, just on and off again, definitely not continuous snow flurries, but going to see the chance for snow throughout most of tomorrow. A lot of that starts to taper off then as we go into tomorrow evening, and by around 8 or 9 o'clock tomorrow, we should be done with the snow, but we'll still have some cloud coverage left over as we go into Sunday night. So as far as snow totals go, not expecting a whole lot, around 1 to 2 inches for most of the area. Maybe some folks west of the Mississippi and potentially even north of I-94 seeing 2.5 to 3 inches, but that's really going to be pushing the bounds. Overall, everyone will likely fall in that 1 to 3 inch range for all of tomorrow's accumulation lasting through the evening hours. One thing we're going to have to keep an eye on though is the winds. Going to be a little bit breezy out there, especially through the morning and the early afternoon, seeing winds blowing around 15 to 20 miles per hour. Actually a tad windy, especially as we edge towards that noon hour, and because it will be snowing through most of the day, we could have some brief periods in there when that snow is actually falling where we could see some reductions, slight reductions in visibility. So something to be aware of out on the roads tomorrow. Overall, nothing catastrophic by any means, but maybe just a minor disturbance on the roadways. Good news with this wind, it's at least out of the south, so it's not going to be bringing in any colder air, not really warming us up at all, though. Throughout the start of this week, temperatures are going to be staying steadily, slightly below average. Our average high now is sitting at about 28 degrees, and our highs will be staying in the low 20s through about Wednesday. By Thursday, though, that's when you really start to feel that warm-up. Highs climbing for some of us above freezing, actually getting above average slightly by the end of the week, still staying above average or at least close to average for Friday, and then by the weekend we'll likely see those temperatures dip back down, but we can say it's likely not going to be nearly as cold as we were before, so it'll be cooler next weekend, but not the extreme cold, thankfully.
Well, we don't always love snow, but if it's cold out there, we might as well have some pretty snow.
Exactly. It always makes it look a little bit nicer out.
For sure. All right, thank you, Nicole.